Hi guys, welcome to a video tutorial of doing the intake function within the Paddy system. I just logged in and I'm being prompted to enter admin mode. I'm just going to cancel. We're going to explain admin mode in a separate video. This is the intake screen. Not most, all lab users and admin users upon logging in, the landing page is the purchase to screen, or what I'm calling intake. To get it from the menu, go to Paddy purchase to. Okay, so the intake screen is where we'll be taking in the loads of paddy that comes into the mill. We'll be logging who is the farmer, the trucker, the weight of the paddy, the grading factors, that kind of stuff. And eventually we'll try to produce the payment and produce a document to give to the farmer with which he can use to uplift payment. This document, I'm just going to show you what the document looks like. We call it a voucher because it's a payment voucher. This is what it looks like. And it basically have our mail header, the date, and that kind of stuff. When we print it out, I'm going to show you exactly what's going on in this document. Back to our intake screen. Okay, so we have on the extreme left, we have a list. This list is a list of trucks currently offloading in the mill. And it may be that these trucks have already left, but we haven't entered the grading information yet. We haven't completed the vouchers. Vouchers basically have two states. The initial state is in process, which is what this list is a list of in process vouchers. And when we have filled in all the information for these vouchers, and we have completed the voucher, then that voucher will be removed from this list. So as we complete the vouchers, and at the end of the day we should complete all the vouchers, and this list will be empty. The next day we start with a fresh list. We have three buttons: retrieve, new, close. Retrieve just brings up the voucher that we selected. We are identifying the vouchers based on the truck number that's associated with that voucher, the truck that brings in the paddy. It's very easy for us to know, so that's why we're using the truck number, because when the truck comes on the scale, we easily identify the truck number and that kind of stuff. So that's why we're using the truck number to identify the voucher. Also, you see we are using the date. These dates are all, if you notice, the time, there's a date and time. The time is when the truck came in, checked in. The time you're noticing, it's time, it's 3 o'clock. This is because on our demo system we are not directly connected to a scale, and we are just simulating the weights, that kind of stuff. It would be tremendously difficult for us to just be connected to a scale and for me to call the truck to come on the scale just to do this demo. So we are simulating the weight, and the time is stuck at 3 o'clock. That's why we are seeing 3. In reality, you will see whatever time that the truck checked in and the truck number here. Date, time, and truck number. So going back to the buttons now, the retrieve button brings up that voucher with all of its info, whatever is saved at the moment. And the close button just closes it, removes it from our screen. And the new button creates a new voucher. So we're going to start by creating a new voucher. And the screen might be a bit overwhelming for first-time users, but initially we just need to fill up information up to the third row here. So that means we just need to fill in up to the paddy variety field, and then we can save our record and do another one. Uh, Let me explain a bit the fields that you're seeing. We have the voucher number, and that's automatically generated by the system. We have the hoppers. This hopper is useful when we are doing reporting. I'm going to show you that later, perhaps in another video, but you can configure the hoppers that's in the system, and as the paddy goes in our mail, we can indicate here which hopper we are saving it to, and it's useful for us to know, because we can track how much truckloads are in a particular hopper and how loaded it is, that kind of stuff, by just identifying it here. These other fields are filled by the system. If you notice, the yellow fields are the one which we are going to be entering. The rest of them are calculated by the system. So initially, when a trunk comes in, we just get the gross weight by clicking this button, and we cannot change this field by the keyboard. It can only be entered by clicking the button, and the button will get the weight directly from the scale connection. And the tier weight, we're going to get that when the truck has emptied its load and return. The farmer, we cannot type this in either. We must select the farmer from a list. If this list can become very large, 1,000, 2,000. So to narrow down the list, we can just filter by a particular word, a particular first name, last name in the system, last name, to reduce the list from all the stuff that we have in the system, all the other farmers. So I'm just searching for somebody by the name of Gita. And similarly with the truck, we have to select them from a list. I'm just going to use a random truck. And similarly, we can use this filter to, if we are looking for a particular truck, just to filter that, reduce the list to that truck. So let me just give you a demonstration. 3483. And now this list is just reduced to 1. It's the only truck with the number 3483. And we hit select. Okay. And we need to fill in the driver. This is not overly critical. If we don't know the driver name, we can put unknown. Or if we know his name, we can put whatever his name is, James. We don't need to put his last name. It's not overly critical. This mill is using it provides transportation for some farmers. So the paddy needs the transportation for the paddy needs to be deducted from the payment to the farmer. So this origin field indicates the rate that we're going to be charging for transportation, because different origins have different rates. Actually, for all these other origins, there's a rate of 0, but this origin has a rate of 200. This is the price for a bag of paddy. So this is for transportation purposes. If you know if the trucker or if the farmers accompanied him and they have the paddy variety for you, you can select the paddy variety. If not, you just select unknown. This is useful for reporting. At this point, we have the initial data that we require to save the voucher, so we can go ahead and save it. But before I save it, let me explain the buttons. We have 3 main buttons. The save in process button will continually save the voucher in process until you have saved everything and filled all fields, and the voucher can be fully completed. Then we use the completed button. But during that time, as long as we have some data to enter, we can retrieve the voucher, fill in some stuff, and save in process. We can do this multiple times as we get information. We fill some in, save in process. So now we have the initial data. Just let me save in process. Oh, I forgot the calculate button. The calculate button we'll be using to calculate the payment figures once we have the other figures, some other figures that's required. For example, the grading. If we try to calculate now, we'll get some errors from the system. Cannot perform calculations until fields are entered. So let's just save in process, and the system will tell us the voucher number that is being saved with, but it's not important. We can always retrieve by the truck number, which is easier to remember than a voucher number. So now the truck has gone to the back. We can do another truck as another truck comes in, and another and so forth. And as we have the grading information, we start grading the paddy, we start getting the grade, the grade factors, we can put them in the system. So as you see, I simply just retrieve the record, and let me start putting in some fake grading factors. And I'm going to put in the factors, and the system is automatically going to calculate the grade for me, and it's automatically bringing back the price of the grade for me as well. The prices can be set through the maintenance screen. That will be part of the maintenance tutorial. And yeah, and also the rates for the trucking, addition of farmers, addition of trucks, addition of variety, and all other maintenance stuff will be covered in the maintenance tutorial. For now, we'll just do the inputs for the intake screen. So let's put some moisture, dark gauge of 4%. And at this point, we have all the information that we need. We can now calculate. One additional stuff I like to inform you is that I mentioned transportation earlier. Sometimes the farmer uses the miller's transportation, so transportation needs to be deducted. So we put a yes. And sometimes the farmer provide their own transportation, so we put no. So in this, let's try both. So let's calculate. I'm missing something. I'm missing the tier rate. So I'm supposed to do this when the truck comes back on the scale. I'm supposed to get a tier weight and save in process. Okay, I skipped that step, but it's okay. So assuming that I've gotten the tier weight in a step previously, and now I filled in the grading factors, I'm ready to calculate. So we start calculating, and we have some figures being produced for us. The calculated weights, we have bag deduction 0. That's a detail that we can go into later, but it's not critical. The paddy gross weight, this is the tier. This is the gross minus the tier. The dockage deduction is whatever dockage we put in, 4% of the gross, and this will give us the net. Before we get to bags, the net weight is divided by the conversion, depending on the moisture, whatever conversion rate it's equivalent to, and we have the gross tonnage. This particular mill pays by the bag, so this metric ton is converted to bags at 65 kg. So this figure is times 1000, then divided by 65 to produce the amount of bags here. And as you can see, we have a gross price for the paddy here, and we have a net price which is a little bit less because we are paying for transportation. Transportation is 26,800, and if we choose not to pay for transportation, we can say no, and the farmer is going to get his full amount. And I think that's all we need to save a voucher. So at this point, we can hit save complete. We have all information. We have a confirmation prompt. We hit OK. And do we want to print the voucher? Yes. And we have a printed voucher. And as you can see, the voucher is pretty simple. It has the date, the farmer's name, the gross weight, the tier weight, and it has a column also converted to pounds, so people that understand pounds better can have a look. We have the dark gauge, the moisture conversion, and it has the rate that we are using, the amount of kg per bag that we are using. It has the grade, the metric tonnage, the bags that the farmer is being paid for, which is 127 times this figure. And it has the truck that brought the paddy, and the price per metric ton, which we are giving because some farmers would like that information as well. So we are just multiplying 3,500, which is the price per bag, times the amount of bags in a ton, which is roughly 15.38, something like that. And we have the total cost of the paddy here. We have the grade and specification here, and the miller and the farmer will need to sign here. This document is divided in half, and one half is given to the farmer, and we keep a copy for ourselves. This document is adjusted for every mill, so whatever format you see here, it can be adjusted to suit your mill. At this point, we can close, and I think I'll sign out here, and this should be it for paddy intake. See you later.